Welcome back to a brand new season of All Access. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the NJAC Conference playoffs that are coming up very soon, as well as some national sports news and a brand new segment as well called Hooks Heaters. All that and more on All Access. Welcome back. It is a brand new season of All Access live from Bozarth Hall. We are here to update you on all things sports. I'm Nick Rizzo.
And I'm Aiden Doherty. And Nick, here on a great Friday, you mentioned NJAC playoffs are coming up. How you feeling going into these playoffs?
Feeling pretty good. You know, last year, Rowan sports, specifically in the fall, had a lot of success in the conference playoffs. You know, took home a lot of NJAC titles, and it's looking pretty good that we're going to be able to do it again. And then even beyond that, you know, winter sports are coming up too, so it doesn't stop from the fall right into the winter, Aiden.
Yeah, it's preseason now. Obviously, Rowan basketball underway. And even in the professional world, you know, you got Philadelphia Eagles wearing the Kelly Green this Sunday. Obviously, hockey just started, and the NBA preseason's underway. We're a week away from sports equinox season.
Yeah, 100%. And it seems as though the Sixers have sacrificed for the likes of the Eagles, Phillies, and Flyers, because don't sleep on the Flyers. They're off to a 3-1 start. And we all know the Eagles and Phillies, they're doing their thing too. But without further ado, let's jump into some Rowan sports. There were some shades of their last-second win over TCNJ 2 weeks ago, but Rowan Football couldn't complete another late comeback against Christopher Newport last Saturday. The Profs lost 21-18 in a game where they had trouble moving the ball consistently. The hero against TCNJ, Nate Mayers, completed just 25% of his passes for 122 yards. A number that's a bit inflated by a 95-yard touchdown pass to Kevin Degnan towards the end of the fourth quarter. With star running back James Farah out indefinitely with a broken hand, head coach Jay Accorsi leaned heavily on Nunez Bukula IV in the run game as the freshman rushed 28 times for 123 yards and a touchdown. Rowan drops to 2-4 with the loss, which is good for fourth place in the NJAC, and they will need to get hot quick if they want to make the playoffs for the first time since 2014.
Rowan Volleyball picked up a 3-1 win against the Dickinson Red Devils on the road on Tuesday, where they lost the first set 25-12, but bounced back and won 3 in a row, 26-24, 25-23, and then 28-26 in some very tight sets. Jenna Call was able to answer the call and had 18 kills, and senior Sydney Greenwood had 11 right behind her. The team returned home to face the 15-1 Ramapo Roadrunners on senior night, honoring Sydney Greenwood and Alexa Blue. The night was spoiled by the Roadrunners as they won 3-0 in a sweep, 25-22, 25-15, 25-17, as the Profs fell to 6-15 on the year with a 2-4 NJAC conference record on the season and have 8 regular season games left, but none at home.
In the thick of a heated playoff race, Rowan men's soccer picked up a big conference win against TCNJ on Wednesday, beating them 4-3. Johnny Troiano, Sergio Sola Garcia, Emiliano Pavia, and Turlo Gartland all scored goals for the Profs, and they needed every one of them to hold off the Lions' late comeback attempt. Head coach Scott Baker and company have now won 2 in a row and remain comfortably in third place in the NJAC standings with just 2 games to play before the conference tournament. As we know, the Profs took home the title last season, and they'll try to do their best Drake impression by going back-to-back.
Rowan women's soccer picked up a dominating 7-0 conference win against Ramapo last Friday thanks to a hat trick from Mackenzie Clement, as she is now up to 13 goals on the year, which leads the team just behind 11 from Olivia Giordano. The United Soccer Coaches Top 25 poll came out on Tuesday, October 17th, where Rowan was not even in the top 25, even with an impressive undefeated 10-0-2 record. They tied number 14 Montclair State just 10 days before that poll came out as well. And like Deion Sanders said, they done made it personal as the Profs went to face number 10 ranked TCNJ on Wednesday on the road and picked up a big 1-0 win against TCNJ thanks to a goal from Sarah Bergen in the 75th minute. It is the first time in the rivalry's history that Rowan has won 2 years in a row against TCNJ, and that has dated back to 1996. Rowan's women's soccer team is now 11-0-2, and we will have to see if they make a jump into the top 25 now. Once again, it appears to be a busy fall season for Rowan sports.
Agreed. Can't wait to see what the rest of the season has in store, and we'll see if some more Rowan fall sports teams can bring some more titles back into the trophy case. Now we're going to kick it over to Sam Prince for some national sports news.
Once again, welcome back to a new season of All Access. My name's Sam Prince, and it's time for national news. The race for the Commissioner's Trophy is getting closer as the American League, the Battle of Texas, is underway, as the Texas Rangers are tied 2-2 against the defending champions, the Houston Astros. Game 5 will be in Arlington, Texas tonight. First pitch will be at 5:07 p.m. And your Philadelphia Phillies will play Game 4 of the NLCS tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks, as they could get closer if they win to go back to the World Series. And first pitch will be at 8:07 p.m. The James Harden saga continues as well. He skipped a practice yesterday for personal reasons, as he said in his tour in China for Adidas, quote, "Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be part of an organization that's part of him." We shall see whether he's going to play for the Sixers. Sixer fans are wondering, will he ever wear the red, white, and blue again? But time for some more happier notes in the sport of basketball, as the Las Vegas Aces defeated the New York Liberty in the WNBA Finals in 4 games, as the Aces are the first team to win back-to-back titles since the Los Angeles Sparks did in 2001-2002. Asia Wilson was your Finals MVP. And now it's time to break it to Aaron Hook with Hook's Heaters.
Hello and welcome to the inaugural Hooks Heaters. I'm your host, Aaron Hook. This is All Access's brand new sports betting segment. This week I'm going to be giving you my 5 locks to look for over the weekend, as well as a favorite I think you should stay away from this weekend, and an underdog that I like, that I think you should consider placing this stake in over the weekend as well. I'll run through my 5 locks really quickly. Rutgers is going to be at Indiana at noon on Saturday. They're 5-point favorites on the road. Huge comeback win for them last week against Michigan State. Indiana, I just don't think they're a great team. Rutgers has shown the ability to beat these bottom half Big Ten teams. I think the Scarlet Knights cover the 5 points and win against the Hoosiers on Saturday. The Kansas City Chiefs are 5.5-point home favorites against the LA Chargers. Chiefs have had the long week after playing on Thursday last week and beating Denver. Chargers dropped a really bad one against Dallas. Cowboys were trying to give them that game. They just couldn't pull it out. And they played on Monday night last week, so they'll actually lose a day of prep time and practice. So I think the Chiefs at home, it's just a perfect storm for them to cover the 5.5 points there. My third lock, it's going to be Washington. The Huskies are the 5th-ranked team in the nation. They've got the Heisman favorite, Mike Penix Jr., who's having an awesome year. They're taking on the Arizona State Sun Devils. ASU 1-5. Washington, again, the number 5 team in the country. They're 27-point home favorites, and I get it. It's a conference game, and that spread is pretty big. However, I do think they cover. They're beating opponents at home by an average of 30-plus points this year if you exclude the Oregon game. And so, yeah, Washington they're a wagon, man. And I think they really hand it to ASU this weekend, and they cover the 27 points there. My 4th lock, going to have to dig a little deep for this one. We're going to the MAC, Bowling Green and Akron. Bowling Green, decent team. They hung around with Michigan when they played them a few weeks back in that first half. They're 3.5-point favorites against Akron, who's missing their starting quarterback, DJ Irons. I think they cover there pretty easily. And my 5th lock, Tyreek Hill to score a touchdown in the Sunday night game against the Eagles. I think even if Darius Slay is on the field for Philly, Tyreek finds his way into the end zone because he's just a machine. So give me that as my 5th lock. All right, my underdog to watch out for. The Detroit Lions are 3-point underdogs on the road against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Lions look like a Super Bowl contender, man. They really do. And the Ravens have kind of had a knack for letting teams hang around in games that they really should win. I don't even think this is one they really should win. Ravens are a good team. Lions are a great team. I think they win outright there as 3-point underdogs. And then my favorite to stay away from, Ohio State. They're 4.5-point favorites at home against Penn State this weekend. I think this is Penn State's year. I think they get it done in the shoe in Columbus. They knock off Ohio State to remain undefeated. So that was the inaugural Hooks Heaters. I thank you all for tuning in. I've been your host, Aaron Hook, and now I send it over to Jordan on the couch.
Welcome to the banner section of All Access. I'm here with Greg and Josh. Guys, I want to talk about the NFL real quick. With the 49ers and Eagles looking human, who is the top dog in the NFC, and why isn't it Detroit if you don't think it's Detroit? I'll start with you, Greg.
I still think it's the 49ers is the best team in the NFC just because of what we have seen week in and week out with them. They have looked like the most impressive team in the league. If you look at that game with the Browns, I understand that they didn't play well, but Debo went out in that game. McCaffrey went out in that game. Trent Williams even went out for a little bit. And it was a rainy game. It wasn't the best weather game. They're still going to be fine. They're the best team in the NFC
So
still.
you believe it was injuries that caused them to lose that game against Cleveland?
Not necessary injuries. They still should have won that game, obviously with the field goal that they missed, but they're still the best team in the NFC. And with the Lions as well, they definitely deserve some more consideration. As of right now, if I had to say my NFC Championship pick, it would be 49ers versus Lions.
Now, you could possibly say that. A lot of people might say Detroit. I understand Detroit, but at the same time, you got to realize at the same time, Detroit hasn't barely experienced. Detroit hasn't been to this stage in a long time.
What about Jared Goff in the Super Bowl?
I understand that, but do you really want to put all your money on Jared Goff on that stage? I understand he's been there before. Don't get me wrong. Jared Goff is Jared Goff, okay? But do you trust the talent around him?
Yes, I do. The Lions got a top
Young team, don't get me
yes,
wrong.
I do.
Young
Look,
team, I love the
look,
team.
Look, they got a top 5 offensive line in football. They can run the football. They're as physical as any team in the league, and their defense is really good as well.
Outstanding team.
Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a Defensive Player of the Year
They
candidate
have
by the end of the
potential.
season. And also, their second-round draft pick, Brian Branch, has missed the last few games. He was the steal of the draft. So they got a good defense. They got a good offense. They're very creative. They can build off of play action. And we got to give some credit to Dan Campbell as well with the job and the culture he has changed around that entire organization.
I love Dan.
Josh, let me ask you
So do
this.
I.
If you don't think it's Philly or San Fran, because I think those are respectively the two best teams in the NFC.
Now, you see the thing
do you
about-
agree with his take that Detroit should be in consideration for the third best team?
I feel as Detroit has potential to be probably one of the best teams, not in the NFC, but top 5. I understand that. But do you trust Detroit?
Yes, I do.
Now, don't get me wrong. Last week I did say Philly, but at the same time, you got to realize Philly and San Fran has lost so much momentum off of that one game. And I understand it was probably a bad game off of Jalen Hurts as well as Brock Purdy. But at the same time, you got to realize right now, these past couple weeks, Philly has not looked the same. And I'm a Philly guy. I love Philly. I love the Eagles. I'm a big Philly guy, okay?
So you mentioned San Fran, Detroit, NFC Championship. Real quick before we move on to the next topic, what is your NFC Championship prediction?
Mine's, I want to say Philly because I'm a Philly guy, but I just feel as though if Philly plays like this, they won't make it past the divisional round. That's my bold
Do you believe
take.
this game against the Jets was fluke, or this is?
I want to say it's a fluke, but at the same time, I hope it's not a fluke. But if we could play up to potential, listen, I'm not going to say we're going to beat Miami, okay? Miami is great. But if we could at least compete with Miami, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for a win. I'm not asking for a blowout win. I'm just asking for something. Just something to make me feel satisfied going into next week. Mind you, who do we play next week? It's a good we have a great, like a bad schedule up and coming.
Yeah.
It's very respective answers from both of you. So let's take our next talks to the next topic in playoff baseball. Obviously, the Phillies are just lost last night, but they are still up 2-1 against the Diamondbacks. I'll start with Josh this time. Do you think they're going to go all the way if they get past Arizona and potentially beat one of those Texas teams?
Okay. I love my Phillies. We all know that. I'm a Philly guy, all right? But I'm going to be straightforward with you. I'm a humble person. I'm going to tell you the truth. Based off of what I seen last night, this team is not going anywhere if they play like that last night. The bullpen was terrible. Craig Kimbrell can't close out a game. The offense was silent last night. If we play like that, this is not playoff baseball right there.
I'll take this question to Greg. Do you believe it's the Arizona
I
bullpen
think-
who shut them down, or is this Philly offense the one to be a...
I think it was just a bad game for the Phillies. I still think they're going to win this series in 5 games. But what I'm worried about is if they get to the World Series, most likely I think they're going to be playing the Astros. The Astros are still the better team than the Rangers. They were down 0-2, but I wasn't worried about them at all because they had the experience. They have the championship pedigree. I still think they're going to get back to the World Series. It's going to be Phillies-Astros, a rematch of last year's World Series, and the Astros are going to be standing in the Phillies' way of winning a championship, and I have the Astros beating the Phillies in the World Series just because of the experience, and I just think on paper they're a better team.
And what do you think about, what's your World Series prediction,
My
Josh?
World Series predictions, I agree with Greg. I feel as though it's going to be another rematch, but I do feel like Philly has the advantage this year. I just feel as though if we could close out this series with the Diamondbacks and we have the momentum, we could get it.
Okay.
I think the Phillies are fine. They're still going to get to the World Series, but whoever they play, whether it's the Astros or Rangers, if I'm a Phillies fan, I'd rather play the Rangers.
Very respected takes from both of you. And at viewers at home, who do you think won this debate? There'll be a QR code on the screen right now, and click it and voice your opinion. Who won, Josh or Greg? And for the meantime, I've been your host, Jordan Weisinger of this banter section. Thank you for tuning into All Access, and we'll see you next week.